space and culture inspire one another. At Ecobank, we know that building a nation means building with heart and purpose, championing the architects, the artisans, and the everyday dreamers who bring visions to life, and create places that feel like home, places where we belong. Because when we build together, we live better, our buildings, our communities, our nation. Ecobank Design and Build Exhibition. How we build, how we live. Every great idea begins with a vision. From bold architectural plans that hold our aspirations to laying the very foundations of progress. Because where we live shapes how we live, and how we live shapes who we become. It's never just about walls and roofs. It's about the lives unfolding within them, the offices where careers are created, the homes where stories are written, the kitchens that gather the warmth of Sunday afternoons, the living rooms filled with laughter, love, and legacy. This year, we look beyond bricks and mortar to the harmony between thoughtful design and the rhythms of everyday life. From curated interiors to local innovation, we celebrate the ways space and culture inspire one another. At Ecobank, we know that building a nation means building with heart and purpose, championing the architects, the artisans, and the everyday dreamers who bring visions to life, and create places that feel like home, places where we belong. Because when we build together, we live better, our buildings, our communities, our nation. Ecobank Design and Build Exhibition. How we build, how we live. Every great idea begins with a vision. From bold architectural plans that hold our aspirations to laying the very foundations of progress. Because where we live shapes how we live, and how we live shapes who we become. It's never just about walls and roofs. It's about the lives unfolding within them, the offices where careers are created, the homes where stories are written, the kitchens that gather the warmth of Sunday afternoons, the living rooms filled with laughter, love, and legacy. This year, we look beyond bricks and mortar to the harmony between thoughtful design and the rhythms of everyday life. From curated interiors to local innovation, we celebrate the ways space and culture inspire one another. At Ecobank, we know that building a nation means building with heart and purpose, championing the architects, the artisans, and the everyday dreamers who bring visions to life, and create places that feel like home, places where we belong. Because when we build together, we live better, our buildings, our communities, our nation. Ecobank Design and Build Exhibition. How we build, how we live. Every great idea begins with a vision.
Hello, my name is Titi Fora. I'm the creative director of Inu Design, and I'm also the curator for the Ecobank Design and Build exhibition, taking place at the Pan-African Center on Ozumba Mbadiwe. It is my pleasure to invite you to this year's exhibition. I'm immensely glad that Ecobank is taking on this initiative to show the world how we build, how we design, and ultimately how we use spaces. This year's theme is how we build, how we live, showing the circular nature of how what we build determines how we live in those spaces, and how also the way we live should inform how we build as Nigerians, as Africans, and as humans in general. So join us from the 24th to the 28th of September 2025 to see how we build, how we live, and how lifestyle impacts design and vice versa. This year, we're putting people at the center of the conversation. How do we use space? Why do we design the way we do? What are the things we do in space, and what do we want the built environment to do for us? So join us this year to find out how we build and how we live. I look forward to seeing you there. Hello, my name is Titi Fora. I'm the creative director of Inu Design, and I'm also the curator for the Ecobank Design and Build exhibition, taking place at the Pan-African Center on Ozumbamba Way. It is my pleasure to invite you to this year's exhibition. I'm immensely glad that Ecobank is taking on this initiative to show the world how we build, how we design, and ultimately how we use spaces. This year's theme is how we build, how we live, showing the circular nature of how what we build determines how we live in those spaces, and how also the way we live should inform how we build as Nigerians, as Africans, and as humans in general. So join us from the 24th to the 28th of September 2025 to see how we build, how we live, and how lifestyle impacts design and vice versa. This year, we're putting people at the center of the conversation. How do we use space? Why do we design the way we do? What are the things we do in space? And what do we want the built environment to do for us? So join us this year to find out how we build and how we live. I look forward to seeing you there. Hello, my name is Titi Fora. I'm the creative director of Design, and I'm also the curator for the Ecobank Design and Build exhibition taking place at the Pan-African Center on Ozumbamba Way. It is my pleasure to invite you to this year's exhibition. I'm immensely glad that Ecobank...
My name is L.I. Sorai. I'm the CEO, founder of eSorai Home. At eSorai, we don't just make products. We build the foundation of your well-being. Every stitch, every fiber, and every calming aroma is designed to help you de-stress. Our mattresses and pillows are more than just an item. Our beddings and fragrances are actually crafted to support your body and mind, night after night. We'll be at the Ecobank Design and Build exhibition. See you there. My name is L.I. Sorai. I'm the CEO, founder of eSorai Home. At eSorai, we don't just make products. We build the foundation of your well-being. Every stitch, every fiber, and every calming aroma is designed to help you de-stress. Our mattresses and pillows are more than just an item. Our beddings and fragrances are actually crafted to support your body and mind, night after night. We'll be at the Ecobank Design and Build exhibition. See you there. My name is L.I. Sorai. I'm the CEO, founder of eSorai Home. At eSorai, we don't just make products. We build the foundation of your well-being. Every stitch, every fiber, and every calming aroma is designed to help you de-stress. Our mattresses and pillows are more than just an item. Our beddings and fragrances are actually crafted to support your body and mind, night after night. We'll be at the Ecobank Design and Build exhibition. See you there. My name is L.I. Sorai. I'm the CEO, founder of eSorai Home. At eSorai, we don't just make products. We build the foundation of your well-being. Every stitch, every fiber, and every calming aroma is designed to help you de-stress. Our mattresses and pillows are more than just an item. Our beddings and fragrances are actually crafted to support your body and mind, night after night. We'll be at the Ecobank Design and Build exhibition. See you there. My name is L.I. Sorai. I'm the CEO, founder of eSorai Home. At eSorai, we don't just make products. We build the foundation of your well-being. Every stitch, every fiber, and every calming aroma is designed to help you de-stress. Our mattresses and pillows are more than just an item. Our beddings and fragrances are actually crafted to support your body and mind, night after night. We'll be at the Ecobank Design and Build exhibition. See you there. My name is Elwai Sorai. I'm the CEO, founder of eSorai Home. At eSorai, we don't just make products, we build the foundation of your well-being. Every stitch, every fiber, and every calming aroma is designed to help you de-stress. Our mattresses and pillows are more than just an item. Our beddings and fragrances are actually crafted to support your body and mind, night after night. We'll be at the Ecobank Design and Build exhibition. See you there. My name is Elwai Sorai. I'm the CEO, founder of eSorai Home. At eSorai, we don't just make products, we build the foundation of your well-being. Every stitch, every fiber, and every calming aroma is designed to help you de-stress. Our mattresses and pillows are more than just an item. Our beddings and fragrances are actually crafted to support your body and mind, night after night. We'll be at the Ecobank Design and Build exhibition. See you there. My name is Elwai Sorai. I'm the CEO, founder of eSorai Home. At eSorai, we don't just make products, we build the foundation of your well-being. Every stitch, every fiber, and every calming aroma is designed to help you de-stress. Our mattresses and pillows are more than just an item. Our beddings and fragrances are actually crafted to support your body and mind, night after night. We'll be at the Ecobank Design and Build exhibition. See you there. My name is Elwai Sorai. I'm the CEO, founder of eSorai Home. At eSorai, we don't just make products, we build the foundation of your well-being. Every stitch, every fiber, and every calming aroma is designed to help you de-stress. Our mattresses and pillows are more than just an item. Our beddings and fragrances are actually crafted to support your body and mind, night after night. We'll be at the Ecobank Design and Build exhibition. See you there. My name is Elwai Sorai. I'm the CEO, founder of eSorai Home. At eSorai, we don't just make products, we build the foundation of your well-being. Every stitch, every fiber, and every calming aroma is designed to help you de-stress. Our mattresses and pillows are more than just an item. Our beddings and fragrances are actually crafted to support your body and mind, night after night. We'll be at the Ecobank Design and Build exhibition. See you there. My name is Elwai Sorai. I'm the CEO, founder of eSorai Home. At eSorai, we don't just make products, we build the foundation of your well-being. Every stitch, every fiber, and every calming aroma is designed to help you de-stress. Our mattresses and pillows are more than just an item. Our beddings and fragrances are actually crafted to support your body and mind, night after night. We'll be at the Ecobank Design and Build exhibition. See you there. My name is L.I. Sorai. I'm the CEO, founder of eSorai Home. At eSorai, we don't just make products, we build the foundation of your well-being. Every stitch, every fiber, and every calming aroma is designed to help you de-stress.
Hello, my name is Titi Fora. I'm the creative director of Inu Design, and I'm also the curator for the Ecobank Design and Build exhibition taking place at the Pan-African Center on Ozumbamba-Diwe. It is my pleasure to invite you to this year's exhibition. I'm immensely glad that Ecobank is taking on this initiative to show the world how we build, how we design, and ultimately how we use spaces. This year's theme is how we build, how we live, showing the circular nature of how what we build determines how we live in those spaces, and how also the way we live should inform how we build as Nigerians, as Africans, and as humans in general. So join us from the 24th to the 28th of September 2025 to see how we build, how we live, and how lifestyle impacts design and vice versa. This year, we're putting people at the center of the conversation. How do we use space? Why do we design the way we do? What are the things we do in space? And what do we want the built environment to do for us? So join us this year to find out how we build and how we live. I look forward to seeing you there. Hello, my name is Titi Fora. I'm the creative director of Inu Design, and I'm also the curator for the Ecobank Design and Build exhibition taking place at the Pan-African Center on Ozumbamba-Diwe. It is my pleasure to invite you to this year's exhibition. I'm immensely glad that Ecobank is taking on this initiative to show the world how we build, how we design, and ultimately how we use spaces. This year's theme is how we build, how we live, showing the circular nature of how what we build determines how we live in those spaces, and how also the way we live should inform how we build as Nigerians, as Africans, and as humans in general. So join us from the 24th to the 28th of September 2025 to see how we build, how we live, and how lifestyle impacts design and vice versa. This year, we're putting people at the center of the conversation. How do we use space? Why do we design the way we do? What are the things we do in space? And what do we want the built environment to do for us? So join us this year to find out how we build and how we live. I look forward to seeing you there. Hello, my name is Titi Fora. I'm the creative director of Inu Design, and I'm also the curator for the Ecobank Design and Build exhibition taking place at the Pan-African Center on Ozumbamba-Diwe. It is my pleasure to invite you to this.
Every great idea begins with a vision. From bold architectural plans that hold our aspirations to laying the very foundations of progress. Because where we live shapes how we live, and how we live shapes who we become. It's never just about walls and roofs. It's about the lives unfolding within them, the offices where careers are created, the homes where stories are written, the kitchens that gather the warmth of Sunday afternoons, the living rooms filled with laughter, love, and legacy. This year, we look beyond bricks and mortar to the harmony between thoughtful design and the rhythms of everyday life. From curated interiors to local innovation, we celebrate the ways space and culture inspire one another. At Ecobank, we know that building a nation means building with heart and purpose, championing the architects, the artisans, and the everyday dreamers who bring visions to life, and create places that feel like home. Places where we belong. Because when we build together, we live better. Our buildings, our communities, our nation. Ecobank Design and Build exhibition. How we build, how we live. Every great idea begins with a vision. From bold architectural plans that hold our aspirations to laying the very foundations of progress. Because we're
bringing the best of all worlds into one magnificent location. Now, I'm privileged to be a friend of the speaker today, and not only does she bring knowledge from the design industry, she also brings knowledge from the wellness industry. So she is the best person to actually engage us on this topic of wellness in the built environment. So I'd like you to welcome, please, with a massive round of applause, our speaker for this morning, Ms. Omo Aneni, founder of the Dew Center. Can we have a round of applause, please? And please, as she makes her way to the stage, can I ask that we please move forward so we leave the seats at the back for people that are coming later so they won't disrupt our concentration. So if you'd kindly move from the second row back, please move forward. Let's occupy as many seats as possible so that way when the people that have been affected by Lagos traffic, when they come in, it's not too disruptive for us. Thank you so much as you do so. Thank you. And also, you'll get a better view. Part of wellness is not straining your hearing. So once again, can we have a round of applause as we welcome Ms. Omo Aneni Modi to the stage.
Do you want to take this off? This is distracting. Sorry guys, I'm coming.
Technical issue.
Thank you. Good morning. Has anyone here heard of the Dew Center or been to the Dew Center? Mrs. Fo. If you have, congrats. If you haven't, after the talk, please feel free to get more info from me or Tunji or Feyi, cute guys in the corner. Okay, super. Perfect, thank you. Okay, so I think I'm going to skip this one because Mrs. Phil kindly introduced me already, so I don't want to take too much time. My name is Omo, and I'm a sensitive, sensory, emotional being, occupying space and giving off energy. I've lived in the built environment all my life. I've shaped and been shaped by my experiences since the day I was born. But only professionally have I understood and intentionally applied that understanding of space and emotions and their impact on each other. Only in the last 20 years have I been very consciously practicing wellness in the use of space and in the design of space. In the last 5 years, more recently, only in that time have I gone to even more intentionally apply that knowledge and that consciousness to not just designing spaces, but also intentionally and unapologetically shaping my own mood, my emotions, and by extension, my productivity and performance. I'm an interior designer. I'm a lifestyle curator, a wellness advocate, a self-professed soft life baby girl, and founder of the best space I have ever created and curated, the Dew Center. Life has been my biggest, longest, and most important project. So I need for us to think of design not just in the sense of a confined space, but in continuous and ongoing experiences in the interaction of those spaces. Okay, what is wellness? So guys, today, I think this is supposed to be a masterclass or something. It's going to be an interesting and interactive experience. So I'll be standing here, but we are all going to run this session together. Wellness, as defined by the Global Wellness Institute, is the active pursuit of activities, choices, and lifestyles that lead to a state of holistic health. So wellness is not necessarily health and safety, although it includes it, but wellness is all-encompassing. It includes the things that would be normally covered under HSC, health and safety, but also all the other things that are considered when designing or creating spaces that humans are going to interact with the ultimate and optimal goal being a state of holistic health. So it's not just physical health, it's also mental health, it's also emotional balance as well. Now, I want to clarify something. Wellness is not necessarily the same as comfort. And wellness is not necessarily luxury, right? Comforts can actually be sedentary, and in some ways, sometimes, too much comfort for too long can actually be counterproductive, right? So sometimes a little bit of stress, a little bit of tension, for instance, a chair, an ergonomic chair that corrects your posture and makes you sit upright, even though initially you might not feel that it's comfortable because it's different from what you've been doing, might be what you need. A cold jet of water after you've had a hot shower maybe is not as comfortable, or it doesn't feel as luxurious, but perhaps that is what you need for your physical health. Things like window blinds that go up. So if we go, say, into the sort of luxurious experiences, right? And we're talking about audiovisuals. Things like window blinds that go up in the morning, even though you want to just lie in bed and stay longer, perhaps that's actually what your space users need for optimal wellness. So just to summarize again, wellness is active, it's not passive. It is not just performative, it is intentional choices, it is lifestyle considerations, and the ultimate goal being holistic health. So wellness includes practicing healthy habits. It involves mindfulness, it involves movement, it involves social interactions, conducive physical environments, and intellectual stimulation. Now, remember this when you're thinking about the design of space, the design of confined spaces, open spaces, indoors, outdoors. Okay, thank you. That it involves mindfulness. So I say this because sometimes when we think wellness, we think going to the spa, or we think journaling and maybe a massage, right? But wellness is and should be all-encompassing because it touches absolutely every area of our lives. It includes things like social interaction, so how people interact with each other within a space, and intellectual stimulation. How does a space make you feel? How does your mind work when you're surrounded by certain colors or patterns and so on? So it's important for us to realize that as space users and as designers or people who create spaces or curate spaces, we have quite a lot of power, actually, to control the way we feel, the way we live. Wellness, I would define as doing life by design. living a life that is intentional and creating spaces and experiences that encourage that. Okay, so I said to you guys that we were going to do this together. Is there anyone who's walked into a space and noticed a change of mood? A space being indoors or outdoors. Anyone who's walked into a space and noticed their mood change? Do you want to tell us about it? Real quick. You can just come up. Come right here. Don't be shy. Okay, cool. Thank you, Mrs. Phil. So you're going to tell us about the space you experienced and how it affected your mood.
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I am Olorunmisimi Omojola from the Lagos State University of Science and Technology. And let me first thank the organizers of this, because this has been a wonderful experience since Wednesday. Thank our speakers and every other person involved. The place I want to talk about is this sort of, should I call it a conference for women? It's basically a hangout. And that day, I was feeling tense from traffic and the Lagos hustle and bustle, honestly. But as I walked in and I saw the decor of the place, I was like, okay. It was calming, sort of. It was like we were really there to relax and just enjoy. And I felt that change in my mood.
Nice, thank you. Before you sit down, was there anything in particular that you remember about that space?
The lights.
The lighting?
The lighting.
Okay, thank you so much. Please take a seat. So basically, we've just heard a testimony of the power of design and how intentional choices, design choices can impact people that come across that space, whether you know the person or not, whether you knew she was having a bad day or not. When we create spaces, we have that power to influence immediately the way people feel. And just imagine that's happening on and on and on, over and over. We're interacting with different spaces that are affecting our mood, our psyche, our emotions. Bear with me, I'm trying to use two hands at the same time. Okay, so why are we here? I'm sure, some of us have other things we could have chosen to do, but we chose to be here today. Why are we here? Why did our wonderful curator, Mrs. Titifora, deem it fit to pick this topic today, wellness in the built environment? And to all of you who've taken the time to, come here and sit down, like, why are you here? What are you expecting to gain from this experience? One person to please answer. Tell me why you're here and what you're hoping will happen, or what you're hoping you'll learn. Guys, we're doing this together.
First of all, thank you again, Omo, for being here. I think I said it earlier, but why did we pick this topic? The theme for this year is how we build, how we live. And the idea is that we don't just build spaces, we occupy them, and we don't just occupy spaces, we live in them. And we don't just live in the spaces, we want to thrive in the spaces. And if there is no wellness, then you can't really do anything else. You can't enjoy the space, you can't enjoy life. So it's important that, wellness is foundational to having an optimal life, I guess. And it's something that I don't think we are as mindful of in these parts of the world. And I like what you've said so far, that it's not a passive thing. You have to be mindful. It's something you have to be actively seeking wellness, in everything that you do, including design and including existing in the space. So.
Thank you, Mrs. Fora. Round of applause for Mrs. Fora. Thank you. Okay. Can I have my slide backs, please? Thank you. Okay. So why does wellness in the built environment matter? We've heard already, and we've had a wonderful testimony. We know that spaces influence our emotions, our focus, our relationships. Design choices impact health and productivity. At the moment, somebody's design choice to put an air vent right over the speaking is affecting my health, and I'm sneezing, right? But I mean, it is what it is. And environments can support balance, healing, and beauty. How we build, so the theme is how we build, how we live. So we know that how we build impacts how we live. Today, I'm hoping that we can remind ourselves that actually we can flip it both ways. How we build affects how we live. But also, the whole point of wellness and mindfulness is that we begin to, that we can, and in fact, I dare say we should, begin to create the lives that we want and the experiences that we want to have by being intentional about how we build. So it's kind of like an egg and chicken, right? How we build affects how we live, and how we live should affect how we build. And we can do this by humanizing our design processes and solutions. Can I, before I go too much into design, how many people are actually either design students or practitioners, any kind of design, whether it's interiors, architecture, landscaping, or anything? Design students or practitioners? Okay. All right. And how many, please, okay, let me know. How many people are interested in interior design, even if not professionally, but just out of interest? Okay, super. And the rest of you wonderful people over there, what do you do? Anybody? Nobody? Okay. So we'll call you space users. All right. So, we can shape the way we live by being intentional about how we build. And we can do that by humanizing our design processes and solutions. So thinking about things like, who is the end user? What are their needs? What are their needs today and also possibly tomorrow, right? Because sometimes you create a space, it's done, but then in a year or two or whatever, you need to modify the space. Let's use an example of a family home, right? If a space is created for a young family, couple years, they have more kids, they need to modify, their needs have changed. But sometimes if that future use of space is not considered in the initial build, it then makes that transition unnecessarily complicated and difficult than it should be. So perhaps you want to do a renovation or extension. The kids used to use bathtubs, now they're adults, they want to use showers, for example. And if you haven't thought about it, that this family is going to grow and develop and their needs will change, then that transition can be quite painful and uncomfortable. And anything that is unduly and consistently painful and uncomfortable, of course, is going to offset the balance of your wellness. So it's being, I'll just reiterate real quick, being humanizing space design, considering the user's needs today and tomorrow as well, and considering how spaces make people feel. Remembering and, and taking into consideration people's, unique superpowers, unique handicaps, whatever our natural tendencies are, and what are our aspirations. So as I was walking in today, my natural tendency would have been first door, walk in, right? But somebody intentionally thought, well, actually, if you do that, then you don't get to experience all the other wonderful things in this space. So we're going to make the first door exit, and we guide you by design through an experience that we want you to have. So you have the optimal and most holistic experience of design and build, as opposed to just popping in, seeing one person and going out. So that's also one of the examples of using design to shape human behavior. Before COVID, I think a lot of us, whether you're a design professional or a student or a space user, I think a lot of us thought about wellness a lot less. I personally, I'll speak for myself, I do believe that in the last 5 years or so, wellness has become even more of a consideration in all our lives, regardless of who you are. You're affected by the use of space somehow, right? Pre-COVID, our spaces were also very clearly defined. Home was home, office was work, hospital was sickness, wellness was spa. But during and after COVID, when we no longer had the freedom and the flexibility to have those individual, clearly separated spaces, we then had to adapt, right? And then home became your everything. It became your office, it became your school, it became your gym, it became your spa. And for space users or designers who had not already future-proofed and thought about how the multiple ways that space could be used, I know that a lot of people struggled with being confined in spaces that were not created or designed to do the things that they now wanted them to do. Okay, so we're gonna wake up now, it's almost noon. I promised you an experience, and we're gonna have an experience. Stand up if you've ever walked into a space and felt uplifted. At least we have one person. If you've ever walked into a space in your life, anywhere, anytime, and felt uplifted, like, oh, it made you feel good. Okay? Stand up if you've ever walked into a space and felt your mood dip. Like, it just, you don't really know why, but you were not feeling the vibe. Like, it just made you feel somehow. Stand up if you've ever had that experience. Ever, ever. We're all participating today by fire, by force. Stand up if you've had ever any mental health challenges. So whether it is anxiety or depression or whatever it is, any mental health challenges, yourself personally, a family member, somebody you know, ever, 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 please stand up. I'm standing for that one already. Stand up if you've ever had to use a wheelchair or crutches. No, we're not sitting back down, we're staying standing. If you've ever had a wheelchair, had to use a wheelchair or crutches, I'm standing again for that one. Stand if you've ever had any physical illness or injury that affected your ability to move around, affected your ability to function optimally, affected your ability to even see your sight or whatever, any physical illness or injury ever that affected the way you normally do the things you would do. Stand up if you're wondering why I'm asking you all these questions. I love your honesty, thank you. Okay, and finally, stand up if you want to live a happy, healthy life. Yeah? All right. So at this point, I'm going to introduce a colleague of mine. His name is Faye. We're still standing. Please bear with me, humor me. And before I go any further into the main content, Faye is going to take us through a very quick, Faye, come along, a very quick 5-minute session. We're going to start this the way we start every due session, with a deep breath. It's just a few minutes. We're going to use it to center ourselves before we dive in and hopefully bring us here, present. All right? Faye, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Faye, and I'm a yoga instructor at the Dew Center. So I'll be putting you through few minutes of breath work. So is there anyone here that have done breath work? If this is your first time doing breath work, can I see your hands up? First time. Okay, do we know what breath work is? So long and short, breath work is just bringing your awareness and being intentional of every breath that you take in and out. So it helps you to stimulate your nerves and helps calms your nerves. But a lot of people, in movies, when you see people, when people go through series of nerves breakdown, they tell you just calm down and breathe. Relax, take slow breath in, slow breath out. So we're going to be practicing something like that today. All right, wherever you are, you can just sit down, relax. Now let's bring our awareness to the way we are sitting, okay? If you're slouching, try to lift your shoulders up, take your shoulders back, sit with your two bum on the yes, on the chair, yes. Now lift your shoulders up, take your shoulders back, and just relax your palms. If you're with your phone, you can just gently drop your phone down, or if you're holding anything, just drop your palms down, okay? All right, so start to bring your awareness to your breath as you inhale and as you exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay, so we're going to slow our breath. Now let's see how long we can. Okay, let's start with 5 seconds. All right. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, let's switch it up a little bit. Let's go 7 seconds. Let's see how far we can go. All right. If you can't do 7 seconds, you can do 5 seconds. You don't have to force it. The point is just for you to relax your nerves, okay? Now let's go. If you can do 7 seconds, do 7. If you can't do 7, okay, let's do 7 seconds, then we'll go higher next time. All right, inhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Now you might find it hard to exhale for 7 seconds. If you can't do it again, do 5 seconds. All right, let's start for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, inhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's do 2 more. Inhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. One more. Inhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Now come back to your natural breath. Come, relax. All right, so let's do one more, 10 seconds. Let's see how far we can go. All right. Again, if you're slouching, if you're bending, come back to sitting up. Lift your shoulders up, take your shoulders back, chest out, and relax your palms. All right, let's do for 10 seconds. If you're ready, can I hear you say, let's do this? One more time, let's do this. All right, come back to your natural breath. Let's go for 10. Inhale for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Exhale. Just come back. I know most of us couldn't get down to 1, but it is fine. Do what you can. Don't force it. Don't rush it. Let's do one more of 10 seconds. So this is the last one. So do it like you mean it. Last, not your last breath. Just last breath. Okay, everyone, come back to your natural breath. Now let's take a deep breath in for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, just a little bit, 2, 2, exhale. Come back to your natural breath. All right, one more before we finish. So bring your palms together. Rub your palms, rub, keep rubbing. Let's stimulate our nerves. Keep rubbing. At the count of 3, 2, 1, you're going to make a very big clap. 3, 2, 1. One more time, keep rubbing. At the count of 3, 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much. My name is Faye again from the Dew Center.
Thank you, Faye, and thank you, designers and space users, for engaging. Okay, so I did that for 2 reasons. One, because I was a little bit nervous and I needed to breathe. Thank you for joining me. And the second is just like, I mean, come on, guys. Like, why not? But jokes aside, deep breathing is actually one of the wellness tools that I use on a daily basis, right? It helps me when I'm stressed, helps me when I'm scared, helps me when I'm anxious, helps me when I'm angry, when I'm frustrated, right? And all these emotions, I'm sure we all have from time to time, whether you're studying or you're talking to a client or you're screaming at a carpenter or trying not to scream at a carpenter. I will go to, okay, you know what? Let's just take a deep breath and then just come back to center. Now we're going to dive into the core of today's session, how our environment shapes our well-being. We are sensory creatures, all of us are sensory creatures. Everything we see, everything we smell, everything we touch, hear, taste, perceive in any way influences our stress levels, influences our productivity, even how connected we feel to other people. And that's why design is not just about beauty, it's about health and wellness. I've broken this down into 5 pillars of wellness in design. We'll talk through them shortly. And I'll try and give practical examples. If I can't think of any example, I'm just going to call random people to give me one. Because I think this is a topic that affects all of us, right? All of us in some way, especially the space users. Now, wellness, as I said, is not necessarily about luxury, so you don't need to have a mansion or unlimited budget to create wellness experiences in your space. It's just about being intentional. So perhaps good lighting, the right soft lighting is not necessarily more expensive than another, but the temperature of your lighting is a choice, is an intentional choice, and not necessarily a matter of luxury. It's a wellness consideration. Okay. Okay, so I've said already, we're sensory beings. Spaces affect our mood, our health, and our relationships. Poor environments can actually, if you were not already stressed, can create stress can create fatigue, can create burnout. Does anybody have an example of how a space unintentionally designed can contribute to your stress or just your feeling of fatigue or burnout? Please. Come on. Thank you. Please just tell us what your name is first, please.
My name is Ajayi Mary from Lagos State University of Science and Technology, Architecture Department. How space contribute to my fatigue or my health? It was at my mom's shop. Like, she just rented that place. There, we had to arrange everywhere. So, getting to that shop, everything was disorganized. The way the table was placed, the lighting and everything. And I have eye issue. So the way, after like 5 minutes viewing everything, I started like, I can't see well. Everything was like, I started having eye problem. I was like, Mommy, I have to go. Like, you know when you can't focus, when you have to focus here, if this is calling your attention, the other one is calling your attention, this is also calling your attention.
Fantastic, that's a brilliant example. I couldn't have given a better one. Thank you so much. An example of a space I even created myself. At the time, I wasn't an interior designer. That led to physical and mental health issues, and I did not know. I was a student then. I was doing my PhD at the time. And I'll leave that part out. Okay, I was a student. I was a student then, and I had this little small room, so bed, and then couch and living room, TV, and my desk with my books and my computer. And I didn't really want to be a student doing PhD, to be honest. There were these shows that would come on telly, some home makeover shows, and it's like, okay, I have a class I need to prepare for, but I also want to watch this show. So let me try and kill two birds. So my desk was facing this way and my computer screen. My TV was here. My chair was facing here. I didn't even think about it. And then over time, by the first year into my PhD, I started having chronic backache, started having headaches, migraines and all of this. And I'm like, what's going on? At the time I was in the UK, went to the hospital, they referred me all the way to a neurologist that was trying to talk about surgery in my spine. And then I was like, Uncle, it's school they sent me to do, like what's going on? And then just in the conversation, it was like, okay, oh, what do you do? You're a student, okay. So just having a conversation, I then described my setup, and he was like, do you know the impact on your spine every day for hours? You're like this, you're like this, you're like this, right? And I was in some cheap chair that was not really supporting my back because I was a student, now it's cheap chair I would be using. So for me, just that change in orientation and just rearranging my space, I didn't buy anything new. I couldn't even afford to change my chair, so I didn't. But okay, put a cushion and all of that. And thank God, no need for spinal surgery. But so again, it's just like when we say that the way your spaces are designed or created, we don't even have to go as far as urban planning or anything so high up there. It can literally be as simple as, maybe I should turn this so I can face you, and then my neck is paining me a bit less. Supportive environments. So environments can cause fatigue and stress and all the things. Supportive environments can do the opposite, create calm, help you focus, encourage and boost your productivity and your creativity, and also foster healing. Okay, let me ask somebody else to give an example. Anyone have an example of a space that helped them feel calm? We had one earlier, or more focused, creative, or help them heal. Let's do that. Anyone have an example of a space that helped them heal? Should I call Faye back? No. All right, so I'll give you an example, and it's an outdoor space. In fact, most outdoor spaces help me heal, right? Like if when I'm working and I feel like I'm just so much tension, so much stress or whatever, I literally just go outside, take breaths, take a deep breath, look at something nice, look at some plants, all of that, and it does help me calm mentally, but also even when if I'm recuperating or whatever. So if you think about design of spaces like spas and wellness centers, if you think about the sort of color palette with the muted tones and the neutral colors, the natural textures and things like that, those spaces are created to foster wellness, healing and all of that. But there's no reason, as we've already seen, why that must be confined to only a particular space that you go to from time to time. Right? There's no reason why we cannot curate and create those healing experiences wherever we are. I was coming today, I brought my plants because plants make me happy. And I wanted to be happy here today. So, I mean, no big deal, right? But it's just those little intentional choices. Again, we're social beings, and interactions with other humans is part of the things that make us whole. Right? If we go back to lockdown and when so many people were cut away from others, their social circles, their family, their friends, and we didn't have the opportunity to interact as much as we would like to or naturally would have done. I don't know if we read any of the research or the statistics, but more people who were home alone struggled with mental illness during lockdown because you're not connecting with other people. Now that is an extreme, but if we think about our day-to-day spaces, layouts of homes, of offices, of schools, how can we create those spaces to make sure that they're sort of connection touch points? Right? So an office with a breakout area where people go and hang out, or you just put in a water dispenser, right? And as opposed to bottled water, everybody has to go there to get water. And so at some point, you're going to bump into somebody else and have a little chat and just connect with humans. So I promised you the 5 pillars of wellness in design. The first is light and air. Natural light boosts our circadian rhythm, our mood, and our productivity. Basically, our bodies are naturally designed to work in certain ways. I'm just going to keep it simple, right? So, morning time, we wake up, evening time, we go to bed, right? If we were in a country, say in UK or Europe or whatever, where in the winter it gets darker earlier in the day, there's also research to show that a lot more people get depressed in the winter months because your homes and your environment is dark, because there's that absence of natural light. Right? So if we are aware of the impact of light and air on our mood and the way we feel, then we also have the power to control that, right? Fresh air is life. I know that AC is great, but again, in the use of our spaces and creation of our spaces, perhaps we want to consider both options so that we're not always in confined spaces, and sometimes we can have windows that open and air comes in and we're re-energized. Plants, again, that one is pretty self-explanatory. And also just knowing within the space how to position things. So perhaps you can't change where the window already is, but you can be intentional about positioning your bed to face the window when you wake up so that you see the morning sun and you're re-energized and so on and so forth. The second pillar is nature and biophilia. Biophilia just means the fancy word for plants in space. as humans, again, we are wired. So design is also about knowing what our natural design from the Almighty is, right? What we are designed to do as human beings, how our bodies are designed to work, and curating your space in line with that. There's no point trying to fight nature. And as humans, we are designed to connect and to be energized by nature. Plants, natural textures, even if you don't have the green inside, the view, being able to see green even if it's outside your window, being able to see water, so even if you're not by the sea, to be able to see or hear water also helps with our natural rhythms, and then little touches here and there. Third pillar, materials and sensory experiences. So this is also about intentional choice of non-toxic sustainable materials to boost healthier living, and remembering that not every trend is good for you. I've ruined my nails doing gel, and then I find out that gel is bad for us, we should stop doing it. So, I mean, it's just, there are things that may be trendy, but we also need to remember and be intentional that if I want to be the healthiest, happiest, is this thing good for me or is it not? And perhaps that may not be, you know, the choice that you want to make. Textures and patterns also can either soothe or overwhelm. So if this space now was covered in like polka dots and stripes or whatever, I would imagine that it would be a lot more overwhelming. So when we say that we're sensory beings, we're talking about all the senses, right? So it's sights, the things that you see, so things like pattern, sound of water or calming music or things like that. Again, music is another tool that you can use in the design of spaces and you know, whatever experiences to create the mood you want. If you want it to be energetic, you play something high tempo. If you want to chill, something a bit more calm. And then scents as well. I know there's somebody here, a couple people who are doing, yeah, for fragrance, who are doing scents. And they might have 30 different fragrances, but we may not like the same, right? So it's again knowing yourself and what you like, but also what you know, moods that you're trying to create. If I want to be calm, I'm going to use lavender. If I want to you know, be energized, I would use citrus as an example. So it's important that we approach our spaces using and considering all the 5 senses. The fourth pillar is flexibility and functionality. So we talked about that briefly earlier, about spaces being able to change and do different things at the same time, and being intentional about that. Spaces solving for our needs, having furniture that is multifunctional and modular, and being able to adapt spaces for now and for the future. The fifth pillar, aesthetics and emotional resonance. I'm not going to go into color psychology, but I believe we know that color can change and impact our mood. Did we know that? Super. Another element of wellness is actually about identity and a sense of belonging and connection with the spaces that we are inhabiting or using, right? I'm going to ask for someone brave to put their hand up. If you've ever been somewhere new, in fact, you don't even have to say anything, you can just put your hand up because it's like you guys are shy or something. If you've ever been somewhere new and you saw something that reminded you maybe of your childhood or reminded you of back home and felt like, you know, happy or warm or had a smile, had a feeling of nostalgia. Have you ever had that experience where you walked into a space, saw something from like before maybe your grandma's house and it made you feel good? Or you're in a foreign space, maybe you've gone to a different state, but then you see something from back home or you try some soup that they only make in your village and you feel connected and happy and at home. So that again is the, you know, the place that emotions, right? The place that aesthetics have on emotional resonance, right? Somebody can hang calabashes and it evokes some feeling or emotion if you connect to it, if you remember it from, oh, when my grandmother used to have that in her house or whatever, right? So in creating our spaces, it's also important that there is a sense of self, right? Either a piece of art that means something to you, or a photograph that reminds you of something, or something from, that's connected to culture. And that also helps uplift our moods and optimize our wellness. So it's important that you know yourself. And if you're designing for somebody else, it's also important that you have a good idea of that person's identity and what are those things that would stimulate those happy, warm, fuzzy feelings in them. So I have a little cheat sheet, practical guides, little things that we can do, just a summary of what I've talked about to optimize our wellness in the creation of space. First one is maximizing natural light as much as you can. And if for any reason there's no window at all, there are actually light fittings that can simulate daylight. Adding greenery in every room where you can, choosing healthier materials, including paints and fabrics, curating sound and scent, so remembering that wellness and design is about all the senses, not just your side. And creating one sanctuary spot in every project, whether it's your home or office or outdoor space or whatever, one sanctuary, one like calm escape space that you can just go and disconnect and be grounded, where you can perhaps practice your breathing or meditation or journaling or whatever other self-care practices. So, I'm going to talk now about personal wellness. Now, this one applies to everybody. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you're a student or a designer or a space user. Personal wellness practices that we can engage. The first thing I'll say is to talk to a professional. I confessed earlier that I'm a mental health advocate, and I do very much believe in seeking professional help when you need it, and I take every opportunity to promote that. Now, it is not, I need us to get to the point where we don't think of mental health as a disability or something to stigmatize, but I'm stressed, I'm not coping well in school, these people are just on my nerves, I need to talk to somebody to let it off. Exercise is a good one. Deep breathing, very important. Move, stretch, take a walk. Occasionally, as much as you can, unplug, like just disconnect. Right, just unplug, unwind. You don't have to, yes, we are social and we need to engage, but we also sometimes need to unplug. Rest, nap, drink water. I'm saying all these things, but I feel like we already know them. Rest, nap, drink water, try and eat healthy. These are just like very quick personal wellness tips that I'd like to put out there. Okay, so I had done a slide for design practitioners. And even if we aren't now, so all the students who are in Lagos State University of Science and Technology, I'm assuming that at some point you're going to be a design practitioner, yes? Yes, amen. Okay. So for present and future aspiring design practitioners, and even as students actually, and it doesn't matter whether you're an architecture student or history student, it doesn't matter, or science. Number one wellness tip, self-awareness, very important. Self-awareness and discovery. What works for you? What colors do you like? What calms you? What energizes you? Clarity in terms of your values, your goals, and your intentions. Setting boundaries, right? So, yes, post-COVID, a lot of us work from home, and then what happened was there were no longer boundaries between work and rest, because it's like your house is your office, is your school, is your library, you're doing everything round the clock without clear boundaries. But that shift has been a blessing and a curse in the same time, depending on how you view it and depending on how you work with it, right? The blessing is that we're not having to always spend hours in traffic going from one place to another, because you can stay home, do the work and submit it or whatever. The curse is that people are not shutting off. They're not closing like we used to, right? So it's now our own personal responsibility to set those boundaries. Like I finish at 6 p.m., that's it, and until tomorrow. Collaboration is also important. I think it's very important to collaborate because we have our natural inclinations and things that we're good at. And sometimes just finding a partner or somebody to work with that is better at something that you can actually be the difference between your mental health or you just like climbing the walls. Because maybe somebody else does this thing a lot better, faster, easier, it's natural to them, right? So why try, overstress yourself? You guys work together and make it a joint effort. Support system is very important. So whether that is your friends, your tribe, your family, support system is very, very important that we have those and we're intentional about them. Research, for me, research is important if we look at it from different angles, right? So if we're talking about wellness in the built environment, there are a lot of things, there's a lot of time and effort that has gone into deciding or figuring out what works and why, right? So, for instance, say you want to design a space like this, maybe you've never done it before. When we remember the power that every decision you make has on the end user of that space, I think we would perhaps take our responsibility a bit more seriously. So if you're designing a space or an experience that you've never done before, rather than just blag it and just try and hope it works, right? It's important to do the research to know the level of lighting that is optimal, to know the type of chairs that are ideal for back support, and so on and so forth. Even as professionals, self-care is very important. Sleep is very important. So, yesterday, I hadn't done my slides. Andy was asking me that, please, can you send your slides? I'm like, this babe doesn't know that I have a full-time job. Like, when do you want me? when do you think I was going to do the slides? And then I got home after long traffic, like 9:30, and I'm like, I can't say the word. It begins with S. I've not done my slides. But I knew that at that time, the best thing for me actually is to just go and sleep, because anything that you try and do now is not going to be optimal, right? So again, it's back to knowing yourself. For me, I know that after I've had a long, stressful day, I'm at my least productive. However, if I get up at 4:45 a.m. instead of 5:30, then I have extra 45 minutes and I'm fully energized, awake. If we talk about the circadian rhythm again, that is my most optimal and productive time. So in 45 minutes, I'm probably able to do something more productive than I would have done if I tried to struggle for 4 hours last night. All right, and so we've talked about the why, we've talked about how to apply wellness in design and in the built environment. And then so the last couple questions for me are well, when do we do it, how do we do it, or where do we do it, right? Where and when do we start considering wellness when we're creating spaces? And the answer to that is now. Like if you weren't already doing it before, then please start now. The answer to that is do it today, do it tomorrow, do it every day, every space, every project. A wellness space, or a space that makes you feel good, that helps you be most productive, does not have to be, and I want to reiterate this, does not have to be a space that is separate from your life. It doesn't have to be a spa that you go to or the retreats you go to. It is every space, every project, every opportunity. Now, on that note, I'm going to take an opportunity and invite Faye back up for another quick break. And this time, we're going to be doing stretches. So we've low-key just introduced some of the wellness tips I've given you, right? Which is movement, exercise, fresh air, breathing, and now we're stretching. 5 minutes.
Hi everyone, it's Faye again. Okay, so this time, can we all stand up on our feet? Thank you very much. And if you're holding anything, kindly drop it because we'll be doing a little bit of stretch. Now, while we are all, sketching and designing and stuff, sitting and doing everything, you should always take time to stretch. Always take time to move your body. Try to move your body in different directions so your body doesn't remains in one direction for too long. Or even if it's at the end of your work, you can do a little bit of stretch. So today we'll be having super brain yoga. Super brain yoga. It's what we do to start a full yoga session. Don't worry, it's not that hard. It's very simple, the basics. All right, let's start with having a true north alignment, having a right posture. You want to check that your feet are facing 12 o'clock. So you're not in a V shape, you're not bending your feet this way. Check that your feet are facing 12 o'clock. Now lift your heels up. So you're lifting your heels up. Let's see how far we can go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and gently drop your heels down. Now let's start with our feet. So let's start from the bottom to the top. Take your right leg forward. Plant your palm on your hip. Now gently rotate your right foot down and up. So you're rotating from the right down and up. Yes. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So come back center. Rotate it the other way around. From the left down and to the right. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Change sides. Your left leg up. Plant your palm on your hip. Rotate your left foot from the left to the right. Left, down, and right. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's switch the other way around from the right down to the left. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back center. Now let's switch it up. Let's move down to the waist. Plant your palms, so both palms on your hip. Push your hips forward, take your head back, relax your head. Don't force it, just push your hips forward, yes. Relax, be there for 10, 9, 8, 7, yes, your waist needs it. 5, 4, 3, 2, push. And come back to center. Now let's, still on your waist, move your waist from to the right, back, left, front, right, back, left, front, right, back, left, front. Yes, Shakira, Shakira. Keep moving. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So let's do it the other way around. So you're moving from the left to the right. From the left to the right. For 5, 4, 3, 2. At this rate, don't worry, Shakira doesn't have anything on you. All right, next up, take your right arm to the left. So you're grabbing your right arm with your left elbow, so this way. Right arm to the left. Grab your right arm with your left elbow and pull your right hand to the left. Pull. Now turn your head to the right. Pull for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to center, change sides. So your left hand to the right. Grab your left hand with your right elbow. Pull and look to your left for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, come back to center, relax. Now wiggle your wrist, just wiggle your wrist for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now take your arms long in front of you. You spread your fingers, both arms, yes. Now rotate your wrist down to the side and go, both wrists, so you're doing this way. All right, let's start. Take your wrist, yes, down to the side and back to center. Yes, down, side, and back. Let's do the other way around, Inside, outside, yes. One more. Take your hands up. Interlink your thumb. So you're interlinking your thumb this way. Reaching up, and gently go to your right. Yes. For 5, 4, 3, 2, come back to center. Keep reaching up again, up, and go to your left. For 5, 4, 3, 2, come back to center. One more. Let's see how the men can do this. Sweep your hands up and gently touch your toes. Come back to center and gently sit down. Bring your palms. Thank you very much. One more time, bring your palms together, rub your palms. At the end, we say, let's do this for 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Faye. Thank you, guys. Did you enjoy that? Yeah? Did we enjoy that? No. Somebody said no. I hope you received a bottle of water. I'd like to encourage you to please take a sip. Hydration is also an element of wellness. So that's what I mean when I say that wellness is just intentional choices. It doesn't have to be a luxury. We've just practiced wellness for free. Stretch, move, breathe. I feel like I've just had a little massage on my back with that stretch, right? Okay, thank you so much, guys, for your time. I would now like us to take a couple minutes if anybody had any questions or comments. Now would be the time. Don't know why that's not moving. Okay, questions or comments, anyone? Yes.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
It's not really a tough question. I just want to ask, is there any way we could access the slides?
Sorry?
Is there any way we or I can access the slides?
Is there any way you can have the slides?
Yeah, access them.
You can access the slides. Why do you want the slides?
What do I want for?
Yeah.
Actually, I love the presentation.
Okay, thank you so much.
And,
Sorry, what's your name?
Adina Emmanuel of Lagos State University of Science and Technology.
Emmanuel. Nice to meet you.
So, what you spoke concerning the 5 pillars of wellness in the space, and I took note of every single pillar from the first to the last, and I saw that can actually integrate. Our designs, the architects, interior designers, product design, even industrial design, mechanical designs also. And there's something I'm actually doing right now that I would need that for. That's why I asked you for the slides. So is it possible?
I have no issue with that. Is that okay? Yeah. I have no. I was just trying to bust you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I have no issue with that. Thank you so much. Any other questions or comments? Anyone? Yes, please, Mrs. Ferreira.
Thanks again for a great presentation, and thank you, Faye, for the stretches. Earlier on in your presentation, you were talking about designing for transitions in life. How can we mindfully incorporate that into how we design as practitioners, you know, like the life stages, because it's all about what the people need from the space. So how can we incorporate wellness into designing for life's transitions, like you were talking about?
Okay, thank you. So I have a project right now that I'm working on with a client. It's a family, the client, I think he's 50, thereabouts. Kids are in their teens. And he's designing what he described to me in the brief as his forever home. Yeah, he said it's his forever home. Now, I sat with the family, the wife, the husband separately, discussed with them, just have a chat about what you do, how you do, what your hobbies are, and all of that, to make sure that we are creating a space that meets your needs now. But in that conversation, which was just like gisting over a cup of tea with the wife. It was just like, okay, so what are the plans? Or how's your business? Oh, the kids, oh, how old? What school? And then what next? Okay, they're going to go to boarding school, this, that. And for me, it was just a process of seeing that journey. If this is going to be your forever home, then at least for the next 5, 10, 15, 20, hopefully 30 years, if you're now in your early 50s. They were not really thinking that, because everybody's thinking that you're going to be young forever, right? Like how you are now is how you're going to be forever. And in the design, some things that the clients may not have thought about. They were building a multi-level home. I think it was like 4 floors. And I'm like, okay, you're 50 now, you can climb stairs. But when you're 70, will you be able to go to your master bedroom all that way? So even though your master bedroom is on this floor now, the room that is currently your guest bedroom is pretty much the same size, so that in the years when your mobility is impaired, you can move down and you pretty much have everything you need on the ground floor, right? They are not thinking of things like ramps, but if it's your forever home, somebody is going to break leg one day, or somebody is going to, have some impairment in mobility. Even the layout of the bathrooms. We haven't installed grab rails because we don't want it to look like old people's home, but we've identified where the grab rails will be when they need it, to make sure you're not then drilling and bursting pipes because you didn't realize that plumbing was going through that wall, right? So it's, simple design choices. In terms of the aesthetic of how the home will look now, you probably won't notice it, right? But on your as-built drawings, all the positions for your grab rails and all your mobility and all of those things have already been pre-designed into the space, so that when you need it, it's a simple retrofit as opposed to a renovation of this multi-billion naira home that you've built that may not serve you in 10 years' time, right? So that's just, simple examples. Things like, ventilation, extraction, stuff like that. Maybe you're not going to have all the equipment now, but you can provide all the services in your build, provide all the plumbing and the wiring and the whatever piping that you need, so that if you need to add and adapt, it's easier to do that. Because one of the most traumatic things that you can go through in life is moving home. So I can't remember the order, but it's something like divorce, grief, bereavement, and moving home is actually one of the most traumatic experiences you can have in your life. So if you're home, you plan to be there for a long time, but then you realize that your needs are not being met, it saves you a lot of stress. I was privileged. I used to think that I was very on it in terms of design for wellness and health. I even consulted with Evercare Hospital when they were building for how they could create the hospital to not, the clinical floors are clinical, there's not much you can do about it, but at least the arrival experiences, the reception feels a bit less clinical than a hospital, because there's also like the emotional effect of thinking I'm going to hospital, and even if you were not sick before, you are going to start feeling sick, right? So we try to do the front desk, like almost like a reception desk of a hotel. We had some pretty looking, things, so that it doesn't feel, like sickness. right? And it is also in the design of spaces that you know that even though we are all well now, right, at some point, somebody is going to need care, right? Our parents are going to get older, we may be. So I was going to say, I had the privilege of somehow managing to fracture my toe and sprain my ankle. And at the time, that morning, I was literally packing, going on a trip, feeling so excited. I told you I'm a baby girl, right? I was so excited, we're off to Dubai, I was packing and all of that. And literally, my suitcase was there. I walked down there, 2 minutes, I've like scattered my foot. And I went from being fully independent to within a couple of hours in a wheelchair. And it had never occurred to me before, right? I had lived in my apartment for 3 years. I did not notice that we didn't have a ramp. Pardon? I did not know we didn't have, I didn't even occur to me, this is the space that I live, every day I come up and down. It didn't occur to me that we didn't have a ramp in the building. There may be 15 apartments. I don't know, nobody thought about it until I could not come out of the house. You know what I mean? So those are the sort of things that even if you don't need it today, somebody will in the course of the life of that building. So just, think about them. Thank you. Okay, any other questions, comments?
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So, my name is Daniel Laleru. I'm a student of Lasus Tech. So, I want to ask a question. It's just like a concern, actually. As a student and as also a freelancer, how do we cope, let's say, in the aspect of you talk about wellness, when you probably work, as a student first, you go to school and come back, and as a freelancer, you also work. How do we now cope with the aspect of trying to balance, you talk about, let's say, trying to breathe and all those things and stuff like that. So now, when probably you go to school, you might not really have that time to think of maybe you want to do something like that. And also you might get stressed and other fatigue and a lot of that. So how do you try to balance that as a student and as a freelancer? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So what I understand the question to be is, you have a busy life, you're studying, you're working. How do you find the time to introduce wellness into your schedule and balance that busy life that you're living currently? Is that the question? Okay. So if somebody this morning said to you, let's go to the gym today, you would have said, I don't have time, right? I don't have time to exercise. Sure, you've exercised. So, okay. I used to not have time for wellness when I was a student. And I took that into when I was running a startup, when I started a design business, when I wanted to, become the biggest interior designer in Nigeria, all those things. And it was just like, you're never going to have enough time until you retire. That's how, if that is the mindset that I don't have enough time, there are always going to be things that are more important than you. Because if you think of it that way, your wellness is you, is your life, right? So I got relatively successful and had fancy accolades. And then I had the most traumatic burnout breakdown that anybody can imagine. And in that period, I would say from start to end of that season was maybe 2 years. There were so many things that I wanted to do. Like, I'm literally in the office, I'm sitting at my desk. I could not physically and mentally bring myself to do anything, to produce anything. Right? And so when I transitioned into my new life, which is my more intentional life. I began to put my wellness before anything or anybody else. Now, I don't say that lightly because I know that is not always easy. There are always going to be pressing things, there are always pressing demands on you. You have a project to hand over, you're a freelancer, somebody has asked you for render, you are running through the night, eyes red in the morning. Yeah. But I would appeal to you to remember that you, yourself, your body, your mind, is the most important, the most valuable, the most irreplaceable tool that you own. So the way you hold your laptop, and guard if you're on the bus and you're guarding it with your life, guard your wellness with your life, like literally. And it doesn't have to be, again, that's one of the reasons why we've done, it's all fun and games, but these little things that we've done today, which is deep breathing, in between, take a break. Every 45 minutes, you're sitting on your laptop, you're doing your renders. As the thing is rendering, get up, walk around, stretch, drink water, go outside, come back. Maybe your internet has disconnected, you reboot. As it's rebooting, you stretch again. Do you know what I mean? Like, my point is, if your life depended on it, and it does, we would make out those little blocks of time. Yes, there will be periods when you're stressed, you have deadlines, you can't, that's fine. I mentioned earlier that sometimes a little bit of stress, a little bit of tension is good for us, it's good for the ginger, right? It keeps you alert and all of that. It keeps you motivated. But the problem is when it becomes chronic, when it's ongoing for days, weeks, months, years, and you're not taking those breaks, you're not doing those things to look after yourself, then it begins to escalate into things that you don't even want to think about or, begin to deal with. So service your engine, right? Look after your most valuable asset. I hope that answers your question. Thank you. Any more? Yes, please. Everybody's awake now, it's afternoon.
This is not really a question, but it's a comment just to buttress some of the things that you have been saying. Let me say thank you very much for your lecture. It's quite interesting and engaging. My name is Olasombo Aduze. Yes, we just did a little bit of stretches here, breathing, and personally, I know how I feel right now with those stretches. And it occurred to me, we do a lot of designs and we clog up the spaces. Barely leaving a little space even for movement. But we could, after the stretches, you said, yes, we have exercised. We could create just those spaces within the office space, within the residential home, where somebody could just as you mentioned, you are rendering, and for that time, you could just step into that space, and then it changes everything about you. That stress is no longer there for just 2 minutes. It's no longer there. Change in life expectancies and things like that. A personal experience. My husband had a little bit of accident. It was just a minor, what did they call it? Minor fracture, they called it. But he had to be on crutches for over 6 weeks. We have just a little bit of change in level in the home. But something he would easily do before became a Herculean task. Even for me, because I have to support him every now and then to make that movement, just about two steps. And it became a real problem for him to climb. I understand these things that you are saying, and I can easily relate with it. And for our students, I think this should be something that we should be intentional about in our designs. For reasons that you may not know, things will change. But where you have already planned it, like you said, it's planned in the drawings, but it is not there yet. So that when those scenarios, when those cases come up, there are things that you can easily maneuver, there are things that you can easily access, and then it makes life a lot easier for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That's actually a brilliant comment. Thank you so much for sharing. And it brings to light one of the points that we talked about earlier about having a little sanctuary in every space and every project that you work on, right? It could literally be a 2 square meter spot where you roll up your yoga mats and you stretch there and you have a little plant or whatever. But once you've moved, say your work zone is there and you've moved to your wellness space, even just that physical movement has a mindset shift. So you're absolutely right. Thank you so much. Yes, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm Abuba Ibrahim from Lasustek. I'm an architecture student. I really appreciate your presentation. It's really impactful and detailed. So my question is 2 questions actually. And the first one is, what design challenges did you face in creating wellness-focused spaces, and how did you overcome them, the challenges? And the second question is, you mentioned research and collaboration, and how can architects collaborate with researchers or healthcare professionals to, to create a space? Yeah.
Okay, please, do you mind clarifying the first question? I didn't quite understand it. What challenges did I face? Can you say that? Take that again.
What challenges did you face when you were creating a wellness space, mostly maybe residential? Yeah, what challenges did you face and how did you overcome them?
Okay, thank you. I'll take the second one first because it's easier. Collaboration and research. I think any 2 disciplines can collaborate, right? And I think within disciplines, 2 individuals can also collaborate. You asked specifically about architecture and healthcare, and the question was, can they? They absolutely should, must even, not just can, they must collaborate. Because, and I described my experience as a privilege, right? Because until I personally experienced certain things, my eyes were not open to them. I thought I was empathetic, but I've become even more empathetic as a designer, right? And empathy is really just putting yourself in the other person's shoes and, being more considerate. Now, in any project, healthcare, wellness, whatever, collaboration is very, very important. And the people who use the space, whether it's the patients, whether it's the healthcare providers, whether it is the care workers or whatever, right? So, I've designed spaces for older people, and yes, I'll have a conversation with you, but I'm also going to sit down with your housekeeper and your nanny and your nurse and all the other support people, because everybody sees aspects of the project that you might not, right? You don't know what goes on in an operating room with, how the doctors work and all of that. You don't know what goes on behind the scenes. So collaboration, for me, starts with even just conversations and getting people's input to say, well, how do you intend to use this space? How do you use it now? What are your challenges? What do you want it to do for you? How do you want people to feel? And getting their experts input in it as well. And collaboration when it comes to interdisciplinary collaboration. I talked about knowing yourself, setting your boundaries, and designing your systems, right? I'm going to use collaboration in a slightly different context that we're used to. My older brother, he runs a construction company. In our family, we describe him as a diplomat and a peacekeeper. Everybody loves him. He's a lovely, cheerful, buoyant, vibrant person. You meet him, you smile, you're happy. He's a little bit chubby, so you also want to hug him. Lovely guy. People love him. Clients call him anytime he's in a good mood. Post-COVID, me, I know myself. I told you I'm very sensitive. I have my talents. I'm actually good at one or two things. But I'm actually deficient in certain areas. Now, my new superpower is actually collaboration. The ones I know I cannot do, and the ones I know I don't want to do. I told you I'm here for soft life. So all those clients I want to be calling you at 10 p.m., my do not disturb is on. You can't even reach me. My brother, on the other hand, he loves it. He'll be very happy in the morning. This client called me. I answered this question. I'm looking at him like, okay, weirdo. But now the beauty of our collaboration is that we now do projects together. He does the construction and all those rough things that I don't like, all those night calls from clients, me when I'm sleeping and doing my skincare. And then it's time to go to Dubai for shopping, I go. To go and buy the furniture, and I go for that one, right? I mean, I make a joke of it, but guess what? He hates the design and the shopping and the all of those things. So I have my own talent, he has his. We work together, we make more money together. Plenty of it. Me, I'm in my bed with my iPad. I don't want to talk to humans. Clients don't call me, right? But I'm contributing because I do have value to bring to the table, and that's very important in collaboration. Collaboration is not just about taking from somebody else. There must be a somewhat equal exchange of value. You must both be bringing something to the table. Know what your strengths are, know what you're good at, know what your natural inclinations are, and where there are gaps, where you can learn, fine, and where you can't, find somebody else. For anything that you don't want to do or you don't like to do, there's somebody else, one weirdo that loves it. Find them. All right? Okay. I thought you would forget the first question. Honestly, I think the reason why I struggle to answer that is, the question is, in creating wellness spaces, what challenge do you face? The reason I struggle to answer that is because I no longer think of spaces as wellness and not wellness, right? For now, for me, at least in the last 5 years more, for me, every space is a wellness space. Right? So perhaps if the question was, what challenges do you face in the design of spaces, it's easier to tell you about the artisans that make me, cry, right? But my point now, and what I've been trying to say for the last hour and a half, is that every single space, every single experience, from today onwards is a wellness space, everywhere. Every project is for wellness. All right? Thank you. Go ahead.
All right.
Can I sit down? My leg is paining me.
Please do.
Okay, thank you.
She told me not to make the comments.
Don't be angry. I'm still recovering from the fracture, so I need to sit down. Don't be angry. That's nice. Okay. This is nice. Why was I suffering? It's so nice. Yes, please.
All right, ma. Actually, I would have loved to make it just a comment, and I would have loved to have said that when the bro here said something about trying to combine different aspects of his life together as a student. In the School of Architecture, because that's where I come from, I love what you said about wellness and all the stuffs like that. Right now, it's easy to be calm because we're on vacation. We've not resumed school. But you see, the moment you enter that studio, the anthem and the rhythm changes. It's from Arizo, Compatriots to J for Jaga Jaga, K for Kata Kata. Things don't go straight again. You can't remember all these things at all. They don't be straight. Like, 300 sheets and you're, no, you can't remember. She's my lecturer. We understand what what we're going through. But just during my IT, and when I had to carry out different duties together and things were not easy, I realized that trying to keep strong reminders, our phones can help us to do that. Reminders, alarms that could remind us on doing those stuffs. While I was in secondary school, very, very stubborn, young, small boy, very, very stubborn. I used to carry very heavy bags. And they told me to stop, I didn't hear a word. And then I realized that my back was bending. And then after 6 years, moving 6 years forward, I realized that the posture, I have a postural defect now. And then to correct it is quite harder. And over time, well, the load is still there, and how can I reduce it? You still have to carry the laptop sometimes because of the work. What can you do? Bless God for life. But then I realized this health thing is a serious thing. I can't stop the work because it's necessary. Then an idea came in. I could get a bike. I could buy a bicycle. I just drop the bag there, and I'll be riding. I take care of the exercise. I take care of my health. I take care of my work. So it don't make sense. So I think if you make it intentional, very, very intentional, you put the reminder there, you just think about it, think about it. The moment you can be intentional about anything, the solution will come out. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A big round of applause for that one. Thank you. Okay. They said only one more question. After this, everybody go home.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adishinola Mlekon, a student of Yaba College of Technology, Department of Building Technology. So I have just two questions for you, ma'am. So the first question is, can built environment design really mitigate stress and anxiety?
All right. And the second one?
The second one is, what emerging trends do you think will shape the future of wellness in built environments?
Okay. Thank you. So the first question was, can design of the built environment really affect stress and anxiety? Yeah? And then the second was, what emerging trends will influence the future of wellness in design? Was that the question? Okay. I have a prize for anybody who wants to answer the first question. A prize for the first person to jump up and answer the first question.
Please, can you repeat the question again?
Right now, we're collaborating.
Can you repeat the question?
Sorry. But when you answer, he has to confirm that he's satisfied with your answer.
Please let the question come again.
Yeah?
Repeat the question, please.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The question is, does the built environment... you raised your hand to answer. You don't even know the question.
No, I raised my hands to hear the question again.
Oh, okay. Okay, so somebody else wants to answer. Who wants to answer the question? The question was, can the built environment really impact stress and anxiety? Like really, in real life, not just on the slides, in real life. Can the built environment really impact stress, anxiety, and I will add other mental and physical health concerns?
Okay, my name is Adewi Abdurrashid. I'm a student of mechanical engineering at Pan Atlantic University. So, there are a multitude of factors that go into it. When you talk about mental health, there's the aspect of association, right? So, separate from the architecture being a particular kind of way, you have subconscious associations you make to a particular environment. Everybody here knows that one class in school that the moment they enter, they are gone. Like, the stress will build up. That lecturer, you hear him coming, your head is aching you already, you're already asleep. The moment he starts to write on the board, you're not even here to listen to what he has to say. So there's the element of association where you have certain feelings that are associated with a particular space, even a particular time of day, right? It's possible for you to have a lecture later in the day, and the way the light in the environment, the way the natural light, the way the hue of the light at that particular point in time, the way it affects you, right? I'm not sure if you like understand what I'm saying, right?
Do you consider your question answered? No, don't manage.
Okay,
You are the architect of your own life. Do you consider your question answered? No, sorry,
Let me
sir.
go into more depth.
Sorry,
right?
sir. One more try. But I mean, I get what you said, but I don't think he thinks his question was answered.
Good afternoon. My name is Adebayo Daniel. I'm from Bells University of Technology.
All these boys with their sexy voice. I'm not hearing you. I won't even lie. Like, I'm just like.
Adebayo Daniel, Bells University of
sounds
Technology.
nice.
According to my understanding, based on architecture and life, basically, yes, built environment does affect someone's mental health and anxiety. And I'll give you some examples. Like, when you say built environment, we're talking everything from size to colors to temperature. So something like someone being claustrophobic now. If you enter a small space, that will give you anxiety to affect you officially, just like that. Then things like temperature, color. Personally now, I have a room in my house I can't sleep in because of the color of the room. I think it's like a dark purple or something. And I thrive in like white, simple environment. If a room is filled with things, I cannot stay there. So those are examples because it's from like a mental standpoint based on how you were brought up or if you have a mental issue or just the way you flow. Even trauma can affect the spaces you live in. For example now, something happened to you as a child. Maybe you hit your head on a particular color of a door or something and you go into an environment like that, it can affect you. So yes, it does affect your mental health and anxiety and things like that.
Thank you. Did that answer your question? All right. So I promised you a prize. I'll give you the prize shortly. And then the other question was what? Sorry, I forgot. What was it? You two, you forgot.
What emerging trends do you really think will shape the future of wellness in built environments?
What emerging trends do you think will shape the future of wellness in the built environment? Who wants to take that one? I said we will collaborate by force today. No prize. The prize is your self-fulfillment and contentment and the knowledge exchange. That's the prize.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. What emerging trend is... Okay, my name is Sajes.
Sorry, love. Do you want to bring the mic closer? Okay.
My name is Sajes. Yes. So, what emerging trend is to better the...
Sister doesn't know the question.
I know the question.
What emerging trends will shape the future of wellness in the built environment?
Okay, so I feel like biophilic architecture is an emerging trend that will shape the future of the built environment. Biophilic architecture in the sense that bringing nature into our designs, our real-time designs, can affect or it can better people's perception of a space. Like, for example, a hospital that has infused plants and green architecture into it can calm the patient, the users of the space in a way that, like naturally, if maybe I'm doing something and I want to take a break, I can say that, oh, I want to go outside and maybe receive fresh air or whatever. If these kinds of things are already infused in my design, I can already experience them without having to go outside. So bringing nature into a built space can better the ambience and the perception of the people that are using the space. Thank you.
So the answer was biophilic design. Yes? Does that answer your question? Ah. Okay. All right, try again.
So I have somewhat of an opposing view, right? Not necessarily, but kind of. So you know how when you're in your house, and your house is like an apartment building, and then like, oh, you have to go all the way down to come out to be in the natural world. And if you want to be in somewhere that is more natural, you have to go further out of like town, quote unquote, right? I think as time goes on, we will understand the importance of having nature be a part of the lived space, not like inside the house itself. I'm not talking about a direct combination I'm not talking about biophilic spaces exactly, but I'm talking about somewhat of an easing of the difficulty when it comes to entering the natural environments. Because like, you know how
so is it an accessibility?
Accessibility to an extent. You know how
access to nature?
Yes,
okay.
In a sense.
Thank you. All right, I think, are you satisfied with the answer? Ah, this guy is tough. One more and then I'll wrap it up. All right, go on.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Anulua from Bells University. So when we talk about emerging trends, I want to relate it to innovation and technology. And in this regard, it will be that we can simulate what is going to be before it exists. So if we're designing a space for Lagos, we can get the air quality before our clients experience it. So that data provides ability for us to make informed decision. You know where to place your window, you know the size you need, even before the client experience. So adopting these trends to suit the local data of that environment would enhance wellness. So we are not designing from assumption or based on assumption any longer, but that we can gather data from these emerging trends and design contextually. Thank you.
Okay. So I hear you say using technology to simulate experiences before they're built and multi-sensory experiences, not just 3D renders. You're now actually feeling the space before it exists. Bros, are you satisfied now? Thank you so much. I will just add a couple things. Biophilic design, yes, definitely. I think, I don't know if it's an emerging trend. I think it's at least 5 years, 6, 7 years back. It's an evolving introduction and it continues to shape our spaces. I think, I love the remark about technology and innovation. And I would, in fact, I don't know that I'm answering the question. Perhaps I'm even asking an additional one, right? And if you remember that when we were locked down, we were forced to lock down. You could not go anywhere, right? I get a sense of a type of lockdown, a type of, people retreating into their spaces, because we have all those tools, because we have all this technology, because we have all this communication, we're able to collaborate globally. You don't actually have to travel to work with architects from across the world, right? I have clients that I've never even met, I've not seen them in real life. I have collaborators that I've never met, and I work now 90% from my bed. I'm not from home. From my bed. And there are some days that I just, think to myself, if we are all now choosing to retreat, right, knowing that we are naturally designed to be social beings, what will design do to solve that, to pull people out of their beds and their homes and encourage them to interact and socialize in physical spaces? Because it's now easy to not if you don't have to. I also think about the impact of our cities and the urbanization of spaces, of the development that is happening, and the concentration of buildings in in the spaces that we currently live and work, and what that is doing for our experience of the environment, what it's doing to nature, what it's doing to biophilia, what it's doing to the air quality and all of that. And I'm beginning to see more and more spaces out of town that are just intentionally. So I hear what you say about access to nature, and it's already starting. So you have places like Lakoe Lakes, you have places like Isimi, you have places that are saying to you, leave Lagos town. It's toxic now. The air is not pure. Come out of there. And so now you're having new clusters of developments, because once you create those sort of resorts outside of town, of course you have to build the infrastructure, you have to build the supporting businesses, the accommodation for the staff, and so on and so forth. So we move from one clustered city, we move out a couple of hours out, right? We start small, before you know it, that's going to be populated, and then we will move again somewhere else. So I do hope that our collective responses have satisfied you, sir. Thank you. The prize is a 50,000 naira voucher to be used at the Diju Center. Tunji, please, do you mind handing this over to the first gentleman? Okay, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. That's fine, he's here. Thank you so much. I hope to see you at the Diju Center. I hope you come and experience our space. Yeah. We want to take a picture. I even wore a fine shoe. Let's take a picture. Why not? Should we do the handshake? Let's do the handshake. All right, thank you guys. I'm going to take 1 minute real quick, because I mean, we've had a lot of fun and games. I just want to take 1 minute before Mrs. Foles chases me away to just wrap up what I hope we learned today. Right, before we close, let's just pause for a second and reflect on what we learned, what we shared, right? We've talked about lighting, we've talked about nature, we've talked about materials, flexible use of space. We've talked about future-proofing our spaces. I just need 1 minute. We've talked about future-proofing our spaces. We've talked about empathy in design. We've talked about solving for problems that have not yet occurred, but because we are forward-thinking and anticipating all those potential challenges. We talked about humanizing the design process and taking our designs and our ideas away from the drawing board and the CAD and all of that, and really thinking about how the human beings that interact and use the space in real life, and not just AI, how it affects, the spaces affect them, and how we can also shape spaces. Now, I want to reiterate again that, wellness in the built environment, it doesn't always have to be drastic. It doesn't always have to be some revolutionary design or master plan. It can be in small and intentional choices, on a day-to-day basis in our spaces that we experience and the spaces that we create for others. I want to invite us to see design not just as decoration, especially, I mean, there are a lot of architects here, so you guys are creating these spaces a lot of times for scratch, but I feel like in interiors, for instance, there's a challenge of thinking of design as something you add on after the structure is already formed. But I want us to begin to think about design as not an afterthought, about wellness as not an afterthought, as not a thing that we do once in a while when we don't want to break down, but in the simple, everyday self-care acts and intentional choices that we make, and the choices and the decisions we apply to every single space we touch. Right? Whether you're creating it as a designer and architect or a space user, every space you walk through, when you go home, if you see, if your parents are anything like mine, clutter everywhere, just collecting things, and the design of, I've had a client that called me and is like, oh, I need to do my whole house. I need to change everything. I'm so depressed, it's driving me mad. And I went to the space and I'm like, all you need to do is like, just declutter. Just remove some things. So sometimes design is not always about adding. Sometimes it's about eliminating and editing out things. If today has at all sparked something in you, I thank you for the opportunity. I thank you for being open. It was a little bit difficult at first, I'm not gonna lie, but I thank you guys so much for being open, for collaborating with me on today's session, for choosing to spend this time thinking about wellness and the built environment. I hope you leave not just inspired, but ready to try at least one thing different in your own space today and every day. Thank you again and have a good rest of the day.
Can we please give Mrs. Omo and anybody a resounding round of applause, please? Thank you. One of the ladies I was sitting next to actually said to me, why did you save the best for last? So thank you so much for speaking to us about wellness in the built environment in such a well-rounded manner. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for your empathy. Thank you for the detail. Thank you for the water. Thank you for Faye, for the stretches and the breathing, and we're going to take that away. You know, so guys, when you're at home, in your workplace, in your lecture theater, take a minute, 2, 5 minutes, just stretch, breathe, drink water, mind your business, as they say in Nigeria. Go outside, touch some grass, look at the sky. You know, smile. Someone said that. You know, call someone you love that makes you feel better. Do all of that within the spaces. And also when you design spaces, bear in mind that people are going to live in those spaces and you literally want them to live their best lives, as we say. So thank you once again, Ms. Modi. And like she mentioned, she runs the Dew Center. They're situated in Lekki. So the gentleman with the gift card is definitely going to be going. But for the rest of us also, please check them out. I do sometimes take memberships out there, and I call it one of my happy spaces. It's a really nice space. Check it out when you have time. In addition to that, one of our exhibitors also has a wellness facility on site, Maison Valor. So as you go through the exhibition, take some time. If you can, have a massage, have a head rub, feel well, feel better, use space well, and remember how we build, how we live, how we live, how we build. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day. And this draws to a close our master classes at Design and Build 2025. We hope to see each and every one of you next year. And bring a friend. Have empathy. When you find a good thing, share it. So take care. And please enjoy the immersive kitchen. Goodbye and have a good day.